Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into the crucial topic for web developers, how to implement JWT or JSON Web Tokens in Node.js to secure your applications. So whether you're building a simple web app or a large-scale API, JWT can help you manage authentication and authorization in a secure and efficient way. So first of all, let's break down what JWT is. JWT stands for JSON Web Token. It's a compact URL safe means of representing claims between two parties. Think of it as a digital ID card that proves your identity to the server that yes, it's you and it's not somebody else trying to log in your name or another service. But instead of physical card, it's a token that you send along with your request. Let's try to understand this by taking some real life examples, right? So let's say you're watching something on Netflix or Amazon Prime as an example. When you log in, a JWT might be used to authenticate your session. This token ensures that you can seamlessly browse content and stream shows without having to re-authenticate at every click. So the JWT contains information about your subscription and ensures that only you can access your account. So for example, if you're downloading a Netflix app in your phone, you only have to log in once if you know that. You don't have to log in again and again and again every time you use the app. Why? Because the JW once so when you logged in for first time, JWT token got stored into it, and every time you're trying to see something in the Netflix app, that token has been used as your identity, so that you can get all your account details. So we can implement this in Node.js. Why should you use JWT in your Node.js applications? Well, JWT are stateless, meaning a server does not need to store any session data. The token is self-contained and carry the necessary information like user roles, permissions, and expiration time. This reduces server load and makes your application more scalable. So in case we are not using JWT, we will have to store all the session data into the server's memory. And if you know that server's memory is very limited. So in order to use it efficiently, we will have to go for the stateless option, and we will have to implement this JWT, and that could be advantageous uh, as hell. Okay, so this was all about JWT in theory. Now let's try to implement this in one of our applications and see how this works. Okay, so let's start implementing our JWT in our code. So here I have VS Code opened. I have created the folder already. So we will have to install some of the packages here just to make sure we have everything installed first, and then we can start coding. Okay, so let me just create the server file. Sorry, that's just a typo. It should be .js. Okay, perfect. And now we'll need to install all of the dependencies that we need. Uh, okay, so first of all, we will need to initialize our Node.js project so that it can recognize that, yeah, it is a Node.js project. You can just do npm init -y, and then it has initialized the Node.js project. Now we will have to install some of the dependencies that we're going to use. So it can be npm install express JSON Web Token, decrypt.js, and dot. Okay, so these are all the packages and dependencies that we need to install. I think I might have some of the packages installed already. So I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So I have everything over here now. Okay. So now first thing we need to do, we will have to import all of the dependencies that we have just installed. So I'm just going to type const express is equals to requires express. This is very crucial for uh, initializing our HTTP server. Okay. Okay, and then const JWT, we will have to import our JSON Web Tokens dependency, JSON Web Token. Okay, and then const bit bycrypt is equals to wire PyCrypt. Okay, I think it is PyCrypt JS, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Then we will have to do DOT-env to load all of our environment variables. We are going to use our environment variables to store the secret key that we will use to access these stored tokens. So if I give somebody a secret key, then only they're going to know what are my credentials and all that stuff. Okay. So that is going to be very confidential in case you're using this. So now we also need to config this, configure the .env, so that means it is loading all the environment variables. Const app is equals to express. See, this is going to be all very basic initially, because this is something that we use to do in every server Node.js code. Okay, so it's just going to be like this only, and then we need to use const users. So I'm just going to uh, use this to store all of our users. So remember this, that whenever we are trying to implement a real life application, do not use this. This is really not recommended, because it's not going to store your users once you're logged out. You have to use database in real life applications. So just for the demonstration purposes, this video is not about database. This video is about using JSON Web Tokens. So bear with that. Now we need to create a register route. Okay. So now again, also going to be same thing that we did, that we have done in the previous videos as well. So app register. So and then we just need to async request response. And this is going to be our arrow function, by the way. And then it's just okay. So what do we need to have in our register route? It is going to have user and password. And then that is what we are going to have in our request body. So we are just going to type that. Then we need to have it looks like some mistake I have done. Request.body const username password. If I close this and then async, okay, I think the spelling is wrong. It's going to be like this. And now, yeah, it should be okay. So let me write this again. Const username password is equals to request.body. And then we're going to initialize one variable called hash password, and then we're going to hash the password that we are getting, so that it doesn't get uh, compromised, right? So hash and then password. I'm just going to do it within 10 characters. So I'm just going to write 10. So Bcrypt, we use Bcrypt to generate the hash passwords. This is just the by default Node.js library that we have installed as well, right? And then we are going to push this into this list, password, hash password. Okay. Once we have that, we are just going to send a status of 201 mentioning that user has already been registered. Sorry, user has been registered now. So we're just going to do this. Okay. Now it looks like some mistake is here. It's saying that it's expecting a comma. I don't think there should be a comma here. Okay, this is a data packet, right? So it should be in the curly braces inside. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So now it should work without any problems, I believe. And I just prefer to have a space here. Okay. So that was the register route. This is just going to take a username and password. It's going to hash the password that we are giving to it, and then it's just going to register the users. Now we need app.post login. Again, it's going to be the same thing. Let me just copy paste that here. Uh, it's all going to be the same thing. I'm just talking about the syntax. So now let's make things from here. Okay. So now what we need to do is we have registered the user. So now our job is to find the user that matches the input, right? So it should be user.username, and that should be equal to username. And then if user is not there, or if the password is wrong, means by await script or compare. So with this, we can compare the passwords that we have, password, and then user dot password. We need something like this. And if this is the case, if it is not true, then just we're going to send 401 saying that, okay, credentials are incorrect. Whatever you have entered, it's not correct. Okay, so invalid credentials. If it is correct, so then we will have to assign a token to that, to those credentials, to those data packet. How we can do that? We can use JWT.sign. Inside that, we need to store the username, user's username, and then we need to store the key that we are going to have. We have not initialized the key yet, but I'm just writing it here. I'll just create the key in a second, and we can set it like it's expiring in 1 hour. Okay, so that's it. And then once I have that, I'm just going to assign it to the response. So in the response, so once we log in, all the credentials are correct. In the response, we're going to get the JSON Web Token, JWT. Okay. So now here, I'm just going to create .env here. Just make sure what name you have given. I have given JWT secret. So I'm just going to copy this. Just make sure both names are same. I'm just going to copy this and I'm just going to give it some random strings. Just make sure it's good. By good, I mean that it's a good password. It's not something random like 1234. Okay. So I'm just going to write JIGS $1 2 3 4 hashtag this. Okay. So this sounds secure enough in my opinion. So we can use that. So now we have everything, not everything, but we have our tokens assigned. Now what next? Now we need to get the middleware to verify JWT. So once we have registered and login routes defined, we need to have the function which can verify that, okay, JWT is correct or not, right? So now we need to create a function signature first. So const, what can we name it? We can just name it authenticate JWT. Then inside that, It's going to write request response next this. Okay. So request is going to be just the request object that contains all the information about our HTTP request, including headers, body, and URL elements. Response is going to be the response object used to send responses back to the client. Next is going to be the callback function used to pass control to the next middleware or route handler. So it's just a callback function which is going to pass the control to the next middleware or whatever the next route is, right? Now, the next thing we have to do, we have to extract the token. Okay, so we have to extract the token. So how can we extract that? We can write const token first to request dot header. Yes, we have the token in our authorization header. If you don't know that, all the tokens are going to be stored in the authorization header, and then we will have to do this to make sure we have the correct token. Because it usually has one space. So by using the split, we can assume that token is prefixed with a string like a bearer. Okay, so whenever the string is stored in authorization header. Okay, and it can be stored as a something like this bearer, and after bearer, it's going to have the token by the space. So by using this, and it's okay. Look, your token. So by using the split, we are confirming it that once you find the space in the string, just consider those elements after. I mean the string after the space, which is going to be our token. Okay. Now, next thing, if token was not found. So first of all, we'll have to do the termination condition. Of course, if token is not found, then simply return response dot status 401 and send the message access denied. Okay, access denied. You can use this, and then our next job, if token is found, and our job is to find out if the token entered is correct or not. We have to verify it, right? So how can we verify that? We can just use JWT.verify, and then token. Inside that, we need to give them our key that we have, JWT secret. We just created those keys, and then error, then user. Okay, and after that, inside that, we can just say if it is not correct, I'm just going to copy this. And if it is not correct, just send invalid token. If it is correct, then assign that to a user and then just move to the next thing. Okay. So it's going the secret key used to sign the token. So we are going to verify that first. If it is there, the function that is called once verification is completed, it has two parameters as well, error and user. So we have two parameters. So first is if it is correct or not. So if it is not correct, we are going to throw the error and we're going to throw 403 error code that, okay, the thing that you have entered is not correct. And then it's going to send the message called invalid token, right? And then once you have that verified, if the token is valid, the decoded payload user is attached to the request object, and this allows route handlers to access user information from that particular token, right? So now we have to pass by this statement, I mean that we have to pass the control to the next middleware or next route handler. If the token is valid, the request proceeds to the next stage in the middleware chain or the actual route handler. Okay, and we will have to use this as well. We just need a semicolon here. Sorry. Yeah. And then this is just a protected route. If you want to test the JWT, we can use this. But I'm going to show you some easy way to test your tokens by just using JWT.io website. Okay, so we can save this probably, and then first of all, let's just compile our code to see everything is working fine, and then we have not screwed up anything. Okay, so it's saying that server is running on port 5000. So now what I have to do, I'll have to go here and I'll have to check. Okay, so I have already created these two requests here, post route, and then this is our route. Sorry, this is our URL, my bad. And then we will have to go to body. We'll have to select raw, and then we have to select JSON. And this is just the data packet, sample data packet that we have inside the Postman request. What I'm going to do, I'm going to send this request and see if it is sending it correctly or not. Yes, it is sending it correctly, and it is returning that, okay, you are right, user has been registered. Okay, perfect. And now I'm going to test this login route. For that, let me just create a new request. I think this was something that I did for my testing of protected route. We don't need that as of now. I'm just going to name it login to request. And then inside here, I'm going to have post. I'm just going to use this to have a URL. We just need to change the parameters. Instead of register, it's going to have login. Okay. And then I have to go to body again. I have to select raw. I have to select JSON. I have to select JSON, and then I have to select the data packet as well. I'm going to select this data packet. I'll try to log in with this credentials, and let's see if it is working or not. Okay, it's saying that cannot post login. Okay, for some reason, it's showing that login route not found. Let's see where are we going wrong. Okay, here I have done the biggest silly mistake. If you can see that for both of the routes, I have written register, register. No, it should be login. Uh, so this is the mistake that I did. I'm gonna save this. I think I'll have to rerun the server here and also recreate the thing. Okay, so with this, I'm just going to click send again. Could not send request. Okay, what's wrong now? Oh, it's not started yet. Okay. So now it's saying that 201 created with the register route, and then I'm going to come back here, and then hopefully this should work now. Okay, for some reason it's still saying that it's unauthorized. Okay, if I send the token again, okay, if I send the login request, now it seems to be working. It was just some typo that I have fixed in my code. And if you can see here, we can see the token here, right? So now let me copy this token, and I want to check if all the information related to me, like my username, has been stored properly or not. Okay, so I'm just going to open the browser here and just going to type in jwt.io, and inside here we can paste our code. And if you can see that this is the encryption, and now it has decoded me the username and all the information related to that. So here is the 256-bit secret. So now the question is, if I change anything here, would I be able to access it? No, you would not be able to access it with this token unless you give your secret key. If you paste your secret key, that you have here, then only you'll be able to access it, even if you change all the information in your data packet. Okay, so this was everything about JWT Web Tokens. This seems to be a really good practice whenever we are using some authorization or user registration in a Node.js application. If we want to make our applications more scalable and more efficient, this could be the best way. So that was everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching.